Hey guys, Zim here. This is my video on Pawn. Just right away, just want to say this isn't going to be a complete introductory to Pawn. I think most people use Pawn, know what it is. If you don't, just install it. It's a great add-on and not too difficult to use. You'll figure it out. But this video particularly, I want to cover calculating and inputting scales that are customized to your character, right? So oftentimes what will happen and what I'll see is Pawn has these default values, right? So let's bring up Enhancement. And these are the default enhancement values. Agility is at 14, crits at 9, haste is at 10.9, mastery is at 12.09, and verse is at 8.45. Now, if you look at those numbers, or you could go to a website like Noxic, which I don't really suggest Noxic, but it has a lot of like very just off the cuff, quick rotation suggestions and stat weights. Oftentimes, this very pawn string I will find all over the place, just because it's there and it's sort of well known. But basically, these figures always change based on your gear. These are not going to be the same for any two shaman or any two player unless that player has the exact same artifact weapon levels, as exact same items. I mean, stuff that's just not going to happen. So these need to be customized for your own character. So that's what I want to show you today. And just to kind of show you how different these are, just kind of keep these numbers in mind: 14.4, 9, 10, 12, and 8. My actual numbers are 15, 11, 15, 14, 11. So mine overall are much higher because my item levels are higher, so that each point provides more DPS for me. But that just kind of shows how you can't rely on just any pawn string, and they're not all the same. So let's get into it. I'll show you how to calculate that. So what you need, and this is going to assume you've already watched my simulation craft video. So you'll need simulation craft, and you will need to go to the options menu and then to scaling. And for scaling, we want to enable scaling. You want your primary stat, which for me is agility. And then you want your crit rating, haste rating, mastery rating, and versatility. You can, if any of these look appealing to you, I haven't used them, but feel free to go ahead and use them. I'm going to go to simulate now, and I'm going to hit simulate. And so after it simulates, it's going to scale. And the scaling takes a lot longer than the simulation does. I only have it on 1,000 iterations right now. Typically, I do 10 or 25,000 if I really want a good hard number. So once this comes up, you want to look at this right here. So these are your scale numbers. So they've actually changed for me, it looks like. That's interesting. Do I have buffs up? No. Okay, so scratch that. I was doing the scaling with 1,000 iterations. I spelled it wrong. I was doing these with 1,000 iterations, and then I did it with, or what I noticed was that this was way off than what I have currently in the game. And I've been doing it on 10,000 iterations, but just for the sake of the video, I've been doing 1,000 iterations because it's much quicker. So I went through and I ran 10K iterations, and I ran through and I did a 25K iteration. And the difference between the 10K and the 25K is not that much. So I'm going to continue going 10K. If you do scaling, I would not do it on anything under 10K because this is a significantly different value here on 1K than here on 10K. So anyways, back to it. This is your scale. So it ranks from highest to lowest. So agility for me is worth 16.06, haste is 15.717, etc. And it even offers the pawn string down here. So this is what we want. Now, on the left, these higher ones, this is what you should be gemming and enchanting for, despite what guides tell you. Now, some people min-max the fuck out of it, whereas every time these change, if one of them gets reprioritized, they go through gem and enchant everything else. Really, it's going to be pretty marginal. I mean, my two biggest stats are haste and mastery. Most of my enchants and gems are mastery. I'm going to get about 3% difference if I went through and gemmed everything haste and enchanted haste. And that's just 3% for the stats of those enchants and gems, not an overall damage thing. So very minimal. Going forward, I will do haste and gems and enchants. But right now, on this old stuff, I have on mastery, because mastery used to be dominant for enhance. But that's that. So we're going to go ahead and copy this pawn string. You want from that parenthesis over to this one, and then go into the game, open pawn, go over here to scale, import, paste, and we have our new ones. And then you can go through and look and see what's an upgrade and everything like that. So pawn's pretty easy, a really great tool. There's other stuff in here you can do as well. You can compare. I don't suggest using it to calculate set bonuses or trinkets that have on use, because I simmed these two trinkets, right? And it's saying that this trinket is worth 23.9 thousand, and this one's worth 15,000. I can tell you right now that the difference between these two trinkets is about 15,000 DPS total. So pawn is just not good for these on use. It's good for solid static calculations like stat sticks. Now, if I were to have another stat stick, and I do, let me go to my bank. I have 2 stat sticks for trinkets, and that's okay because those are static numbers. So I'm going to open it up again. I have an ethereal urn. Ethereal urn only has agility mastery. This guy here only has agility and haste. So actually, this one should be better because it's a higher eye level. No, it's not. Just kidding. Yeah, this is 870. This is 875. I don't know what I was thinking. But this one tells me this one is better by about 800,000 DPS. And that's just because they're static numbers, easy to calculate. These additional abilities or additional procs, those are not going to be calculated in pawn, I mean. And the same goes for your relics. Don't use pawn for relics. I don't think pawn will ever tell you that a relic is an upgrade. I could be wrong, but that's it for pawn. Pawn is super. It's not really a groundbreaking tool, but it is super convenient for when you're in a run and someone says, "Oh, does anyone need this? I don't need it." And you look and you'll have that upgrade right there. It'll tell you, yeah, that's a 1% upgrade. Now that 1%, that is for that item only. So this is saying this is 1% better than these pants. Let me equip something that's not so complicated, because that's like a set. I don't want to bring that into any of it. Do I have anything that's low eye level? 855, that'll be good. Okay, so I'm going to equip this 855 belt. Oh, even better, and it's legendary. Let's not compare legendaries. Here we go. Okay, so I have this 855 belt equipped now, and this is an 875 down here. Clearly better, right? But how much better? Because what if something is a huge item upgrade, but the secondary stats are not, you're not really that excited about them because they're not great for your spec or whatever? Pawn will do the hard math and tell you right away, hey, this is going to be an upgrade, and this is how much, because this belt is 13% better than this belt. And that doesn't take in the gems at all. It will calculate how much you get out of, how many stats you get out of having the gem. So it will calculate that much in, and it'll do that by pulling out what your best gem is. So it'll add that to that number. So yeah, pawn is good for, like I said, just doing the hard math on things and figuring it out. So I still have a tell me when video to do. So if If you want to see that, Tell Me When is a great add-on for rotation helping, and it just makes it real easy to follow. Maybe whether you're a new player to a class, or you just want to make sure that you have the most uptime on some dots or buffs or anything like that. It makes it real easy to stick to your rotation and doesn't allow for a lot of human error. So make sure to check that out.